Okay, hey sophomores. So this is part 2 of basically this morning's instructional video, as I'm obviously at home today. So I wanted to quickly go over a few things on the test. For those of you who took this, had some problems, stumbled along the way, this is me going over a few of the concepts. I'm not going to go over everything, but some of the things that were kind of the most missed, and hopefully kind of help you out. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first things first, I fixed the first 2 questions on the test. I realized that they were the same question, so I apologize for that. They are now fixed. One is on the parents and one is on the resulting offspring between the cross. Okay, so this should be fairly easy now and straightforward. So my apologies for that. One thing I wanted to talk about. So with complete dominance, codominance, and incomplete dominance. Complete, incomplete, and codominance. There we go. Okay, so here's a quick clarification. In complete dominance, you have a situation or a setup where one gene, in this case it would be the blue, is dominant to another gene, which would be that Y right there. Okay, so blue is dominant to yellow. So anytime blue shows up, in the instance where it's like, say, B and Y together, well, that means you're going to get the blue. The blue dominates the yellow, okay? In codominance, this one right here, codominance, I'll circle it so it's more obvious, the blue and the yellow are both equally dominant to each other. That's why it's co, okay? And in this instance, what you get is you get both traits showing through in equal measure, or both traits showing true in their pure form. So what I mean by that is you might get, in this instance, a blue and yellow polka dotted little creature here, or maybe he's blue and yellow striped. So both colors come through, they don't really mix together, so to speak. In incomplete dominance, neither gene is dominant over the other, and they blend together. Okay, so you go from a blue and a yellow, and those two will blend in to create a green. So those are different setups, and those are the different setups, and that's kind of how they shake out in terms of the genotype to phenotype. Notice all 3 of these down here have the exact same genotype, right? There's the genotype, but their phenotypes are each different based on the setup up here. Okay, so hopefully this kind of helps you out with the questions that are forthcoming on this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. So some of these are reading questions, like the blood type is a reading question, the sickle cell is a reading question, so this is just me trying to see which of those examples and things you retained. Okay, let's go into the multiple alleles, because that's another setup similar to codominance and all of that. So take a screenshot here, pop it up, get some more room to talk about this. All right, so when we're talking about multiple alleles, basically what we do is we set up a hierarchy. And in the hierarchy, what you can see up here is that C is the most dominant. So this capital C, it's on the top of the totem pole, okay? It's the king. Nobody messes with it. Anytime you have a capital C in your genotype, you are going to get the phenotype of full color, okay? 100% of the time. It's the most dominant gene. Okay, next on the list would be the not full color, this gray bunny. So this right here is next on the totem pole. So you can think of it like the queen. Okay, king trumps a queen in cards. Okay, so this would be like the queen. It overrides everybody except for the king, which is the capital C, which is full color, right? Okay, so in this instance, if you have CCH with CCH, that works for not full color, you get a gray bunny. If you have CCH and CH, so like that one right there, which is for this guy right here, okay, well you still get not full color, it's a gray bunny. And if you get CCH little c, like this guy down here, you still get a gray bunny. All right, so that's 3 setups that you get for that gray bunny. Now, you move on to, say, the jack in a deck of cards, right? This basically will beat out everything 10 and below, but it won't beat out a queen and it won't beat out a king. So for the Himalayan genotype, anytime you have a CH, CH, or a CH little c, you have a Himalayan color bunny. And the only time you get the albino here is if you have a little c, and that's it. So it's the recessive one. It's on the bottom of the totem pole. It's like the 2 of any, spades, diamonds, whatever, any suit. So that is how the hierarchy works. So this makes it a little bit more complicated, but you're always going to be given the hierarchy here so you know how to figure this out. So once you kind of get the concept, the rest is fairly straightforward. All right? Okay, so moving on. Next examples. I might have to skip through and scan a little bit, so I apologize for any dead air time here. But let's see. Probability of having a girl, you should know that one. So this is some reading stuff. Sex-linked traits has to do with this particular question right here, and I will probably get into that when we get to an example down below. So worry not. All right. Cross between two hamsters. When you get into these dihybrid crosses, just remember which is the dominant and which is the recessive traits. And remember that you're looking at two traits simultaneously. So if I pause here, there we go, pop that up. All right, so capital H in this is dominant for long hair. So that's if you get big H, or big H, little h. And the only time you would get short hair, no, it's a little h, short, would be if you had little h, right? So as you're looking through these, you can try to find your little h's. Hey, there's one right here that's going to have short hair. This one's going to have short hair. That one's going to have short hair. That one's going to have short hair. And then you're looking for your hair color. So when we look at hair color, capital R is the dominant, and that's for red. And you get red if you have big R, or big R, little r. And then recessive is white, and that's little r. And in that instance, you can only get that with little r. So here's a little r, so that'd be white, that would be white, that would be white, that would be white. You get the point. So as you're looking through and answering these questions moving forward, that's all the information you really need, because the rest of this is all about probability. So, you'd count it up. Oh, there were 4 ones with short hair out of the 16, and that's what we're basically doing, right? Okay, so moving on. Done with that. Uh-oh, my Apple Pencil is going to die. So, moving down, if this dies, it's going to be a real bummer, because I only can charge it by plugging it in, and that means I have to disconnect and pause the video and do another one. Okay, let's move quickly. So at this point, you guys should know how to cross these, but I'll go ahead and do it really quick. So to cross this right here, you have the big H, big R, little r. And the big R came from that, the little r came from that, the big H came from that, the little h came from that, right? So you're just putting them together like that. You do that all the way across the whole thing, okay? All right, so that should be nice and easy for you to figure out. Moving on, scrolling down, because this is all about that. Just remember, genotype is the genes, like the H's and the R's, and the phenotype is like long hair, short hair, red hair, blue eyes. It's the characteristic, okay? That's important to know. All right, swinging down. This should all be very easy for you, especially if you got the ones up top. So I'm not going to go over those. Let's see. Easy stuff, easy stuff. Sex-linked traits. Okay, this is the last one I'll go over. So with sex-linked traits, I even kind of set this up for you to make it a little easier on you. What you're doing with this is you have to remember that the Y chromosome doesn't have an allele. So it acts as recessive in this instance. Okay? So that's why we have it with the X and the Ys, because men are XY and women are XX. Okay? So with this, what you get in the crosses looks like this. Little h, y, x, little h, y, and x, big H, x, little h. And here's the deal. So this is no hemophilia, and it's the dominant allele. So this one and this one do not have hemophilia, so the girls don't end up with it. And that's good because, like, for instance, with women, because they have two X chromosomes, they have two alleles that can basically battle it out, so they have less of a chance of getting hemophilia. With men, no matter what, they basically start off with a recessive allele because this does not carry an allele. So if they have a single donor for that recessive allele, they automatically get hemophilia. And this is why we call it a sex-linked trait, because it oftentimes shows up in men much, much, much more because they don't have one of those competing alleles. Okay, and that's because the Y chromosome is so much shorter than the X chromosome. So females have a little bit more information in their genome than do males. Okay, so hopefully that helps with that a little bit. So, okay, that was the main concepts in this quiz in a nutshell. I hope this was helpful. Sorry you couldn't see my face on this, but I wanted this to be a quick video without the bells and whistles. So I will catch you guys Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week, and I will be out again Friday for a funeral. So, yeah, I should see you in class. Talk to you later.